Hello everyone, this is FIDE Master Viktor Neustroyev, and thank you for coming to our next webinar. However, it happens more often than you can imagine. Okay, so please let me know whether the sound and the video quality is good. And if everything is okay, then I would like to know which country you are from and what's your current rating, either FIDE rating or chess.com ELO. Okay, so looks like everything is working. We have Rushikesh, who is 1400 FIDE. Todd is almost 1800 USCF. Okay, who else is going to join us today? Okay, Brian. Radek from Poland. Okay, Radek is 2050, which is really good. Okay, so well, anyway, you can watch the recording of this event if you skip or you just want to watch it once again, because I'm sure that the information I'm going to provide you today is very helpful for those who want to improve their ability to play the endgame. To enter and Okay, fine. Yeah, it's a pity. It looks like some problems with my internet connection, but it was really good. Okay, anyway, I think we should start. And the first thing I want to ask you is, well, what do we typically need to do in the end games? When the game passes to the end game, what should we do? Should we attack the king? Is it the main plan? Or what? Because when I was starting teaching kids of 5, 6, and 7 years old, and they were doing well with their attack in the middle game, they also continued their attack in the end game, and it actually didn't make any sense. So can you imagine where such a checkmate can be delivered? And of course, if only your opponent realizes that you're going to deliver a checkmate, at least one move can stop all this attack. So usually attacking with fewer pieces, especially which we usually what I'm talking about, what is this something else? So king activity, yes. So we centralize the king, especially if okay, in this position, in this position, actually, I think it's a wrong position. No, this is not what I wanted you to show. So I prepared these three positions for you. This is the first one. So here is the end game. And of course, yes, in this position with bishops and pawns, it doesn't make sense to attack at all. And what should we do in the end game? So in the end game, we are trying to activate ours. We are looking of how to create a passed pawn that we can promote. We promote either to just get the queen on the board or at least to tie enemy pieces down to that pawn and, for example, switch on the other side and attack another weakness. So when we play the end game, it's mainly about pieces activity, pawn weaknesses, and pawn promotion. Let's take a look at the first game. So why does it make sense to initiate the attack on the king? Well, because of the same reasons. We do initiate the attack on the enemy king in case if we want to first deliver a checkmate. Sometimes the king can be in the mating net, And well, when we see the king is compromised, it makes sense to attack in order to deliver a checkmate. Sometimes we attack just to get our pieces activated. We check the king, we create threats, and at the same time activate our pieces. And well, we do not assume that we obligatory succeed with a checkmate. We assume that at a certain moment our opponent finds how to defend his king, but our pieces activity will provide us with the edge. For example, we may attack the pawns located on the other flank, or maybe trap some of their enemy pieces. So two reasons: one, to create a mating net and try to checkmate; second, activate our pieces by doing checks and threats; and the third is to provoke your opponent to create weaknesses and ideas. Our opponent sometimes has to move the pawns the way that he doesn't like, and that weakens his position, especially his pawns, and this is what we can take advantage of. Well, the best way to attack is to attack with several pieces coordinated. So, for example, the rook can be coordinated with a knight, it's really powerful, or rook with a bishop, which is also okay, and the knight, the pawn, and the rook is also very very strong pieces into the attack and the endgame for the enemy king. So in the end game, we use our king as an ordinary piece. And well, some people, some chess players did the analysis regarding it, and they concluded that the king's power is equal to the rook. So we can say that the king is 5 pawns. Okay, so by looking at this position, it's actually the gameplay between Garry Kasparov and Tigran Petrosyan. We can say that if we just remove all the pieces, it's just a draw. Maybe actually black is winning because of no, it's still a draw, because the distant pass pawn is very close to the center and to the white king. So here, if black activates his pieces, it is a draw. But Garry Kasparov tries to stop it. So the knight should go there and then there. That's why the first move he plays is this. Petrosyan reacts with h6. But if not h6, but let's say knight b6 with the idea of doing knight c4, then this is a very dangerous check. The king cannot go there because of a discovery check. The king has to go there, but then there will be some ideas with the back rank. So we activate our rook, rook c7. Then let's say if they do knight c4, we can just continue with and they here to support white is to do this. That's why they play g5 here. Rook. Okay. It's played, but it doesn't work. The other thing, at least we want to play the x there, but so h7 and how h2, just bishop blocks, and so nothing can be done to stop the. That's why just rook a6. Continue with bishop e6 and rook a8, then present, and white may not win 5 and to take on h6 after that. So g takes h5, knight takes, and king goes to g7. If the king goes to f6, it's So king, after the next move, black just doing I'm working through my mobile internet, which is not bad. It's 4G, so it's fine. And maybe before that, Wi-Fi worked really well. This is definitely possible here. That's the problem. Be tried, because then you're going out is bishop d4, because so for example, knight h4, they move their king, or you can play knight a7 instead, then and in order to get rid of it, so if they create to stop this mate on a black resigned. The number of pieces is not if, and the first. Now what? Well, they pawns and maybe attacking, but he thinks of how he can weaken to play g5 move after the weakness. So, and if with a tactical strike, yeah, opposite colored bishop. If you play the attack, and so Brian opposite colored trick making looks like that's why it's not really. So well, the c7, the rook does nothing on the c5 on the king side. Mainly on the king side and in a few tempi. The rook c3, then b5, king d2, takes b5. So, would you take on before here? Are you going to do? Bishop c4, so you shouldn't take. Yeah, well, and then you get your bishop to d4 of the opposite color, I mean. So defend with the enemy bishop is based on it. So white is going to stop it, and that's why f takes g6. Instead of lose the game, they rook h1, take on f6. The king goes to g6. Bishop is tied down. If the looks like black pieces are stuck. If this rook moves, 6 here, white continued with b simply, and after b4, if they take on and bring the king closer and then stuck. Every time they better. H takes g6, king g7 rooks. So let's say rook. Well, this move. If this move is, then double the. So king g, bishop c5, rook f1. Anatoly Karpov realizes that because the king, such a checkmate is definitely let black exchange the rook. They're trying to bring the rook, which I want to. And which opening did it come from? It was, if you follow Visha Martelli, was one of the most popular contribution to world chess. Because after king g7, you get the worse. You move the and black cannot stop it. So rook h6 was good too. King do this with the idea of probably it was a good idea to play. Moreover, i8, just bishop takes g8 is okay. This is just a mating net, and you see here to deliver a checkmate, white used all his pieces. The bishop that was preventing the enemy rook activity. So once you see that you can succeed with because he wanted to deliver a checkmate, but because of that, it have a chance to take a wait a second. Pawns on the queen side are promoted. Fine, we have the last game for today. This is the game between Magnus Carlsen and Boris Gelfand. They want you to guess the first move. Then it's not about the king side attack. Late. Was this from Benoni? No, that was from Kat. So what would you suggest? What? Okay, so look, was g4. Well, and then try to double to pin the. So what happens? Much more active comparing to the other. We played this move to defend it. It's just 4 immediately, and that one he either gains the pawn back or bishop takes. So we are one is hanging. There is no way to protect it. So knight b4 accurately. So rook d7 pin and a counter attack with. And now rook a to e8, trying to capture this, to take on f3 and then take on e5. Black will at least. So who can tell me how to play? Is a move. It's rook a5. If pieces, having in mind that now the rook is the game would continue with white is slightly better and still. Then rook takes a7. Now the bishop went here, deliver a checkmate. However, maybe to deliver a checkmate too, because after bishop h6, there is no way to bring the bishop back and also to block this rank. So the knight has almost no squares. So bishop d6, for example, h3, bishop h5, and after rook f2, a1, play rook f7, rook f6 instead. And now if you imagine that this bishop occupies this diagonal and this bishop goes to g7, this is a mate. So play for a mating attack, you should take reasons, of course, such as I mentioned in order, and weaken these pawns as I reach 5. Knight c2. Well, and if knight goes to b3, trying to distract, then it will continue his mating attack. I'm sure that Magnus, when he 5 and rook g6. And then what? Goes back, because the rook e6 no longer go. That's why after this check the king. Well, it's not a mate, but this. So that's why Gelfand. So rook takes h6, knight takes b4. Position is complete. It has a bishop pair, which usually is really good, but these bishops are not coordinated, and they are not better than the knight that is located in the center and is about, which is about to go to f6. h8. Takes b6 was good enough. So rook takes b7. Magnus plays this. Rook b7 in order to attack. Bishop d1. Attacking this pawn. Just b4. What now? If, for example, this move is played, this move, rook b. If rook d8 in this position, this is the plan. So we should somehow. Maybe with bishop f6. This is the pin, so there is no way to capture on e7. Just resigned. So you might go to h7 to save the rook. Pawn back, but anyway, with here Magnus didn't start his to get this bishop activated. This pawn sacrifice, so they decided to block the other bishop, but I mean to play materially. This moment when black, because Magnus Carlsen will play for some pins that based on this bishop activity and on a distraction of the knight on b4, which finally led to 2 extra pawns, then 3 net today. Well, I'm going well, and next no webinar next week, because I don't want segments when it's always buffering and loading. So I'm sure I can fix it. If not, then there will be no webinar next week. However, there will be not by me, but about how to what are. So if you provoke your opponent to create the attack on the enemy, you should realize whether weight your pieces in a different way. And if you have, guys, any suggestions of how to